There are few people who can sing with more feeling and soul and passion. When he is on stage, he can make you feel what he wants you to feel. He is a teacher and he is an activist. He stands up for what is right all the time, and he's been doing this for decades. In his music, his singing, his rhythm, Cyril is a shaman. And one of the great uptown rulers, Mr. Cyril Neville.
Sunrise on the river, come on, go with me. Yeah, now, sunrise on the river, what a beautiful sight to see. Yeah, sunrise on the river.
Oh wow, can you imagine the world without music? I mean, what the hell would be, you know? Man, the importance of music is a spiritual force, and it's a healing force. And like the great part about it is when you using your gift, and you can see that it's healing who you're playing for, but at the same time, when you realize it's healing you too, that's the best part about it, you know, because that healing goes both ways, you know. Growing up in New Orleans, at the time I grew up, and growing up in the family I grew up in, and during that time in our neighborhood alone, they had like about 5 or 6 other musical families. I picked up a little bit of stuff from all of those, you know, and vice versa, you know, and then you got the rest of the city that was just like that. Every neighborhood was the same way, you know.
Try to fuck your knees and put your back into it.
The Baptiste family.
Rocking the ship. Maybe 1, 2, 3, let's go, y'all.
Andrews, the Hills, you know, Marcellus, and you go, you know, and then when you say Baptiste, you're talking about at least 5 different divisions of just that one name, and all of the families were musical families, the Lasty family, you know. So, and during the time that I was coming up, my brother Art had a band called the Hawkettes that rehearsed in our living room, and it consisted of some of the top of the crop of New Orleans musicians at that time, you know. And so there wasn't no doubt for me ever, you know, what I wanted to do in life, you know. Music education is like, I'll put it like this, music and culture was the life preservers that brought me through the COINTELPRO days and all of that kind of stuff. And some of my musical heroes and some of the greatest musicians that ever walked the planet came out of a high school music program. And I'm talking about Allen Toussaint, James Black, James Booker, Art Neville, Charles Neville, Aaron Neville, Irma Thomas, the Dixie Cups, the Turbington family. All of these people came out of a high school music program. That's how all of these different styles of music and different influences that the city of New Orleans put on the rest of the world through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Without those high school programs, that would have never happened. So now that the high school programs are gone and have been gone for some time, as far as creating another team of serious musicians like that is probably, it's impossible, you know? I mean, Noka can only do so much by itself, you know? And like back in those days, the band leaders were heroes. And like well, for me, when I went to the football games between the most popular schools, we was waiting for the battle of the bands. We was waiting for the bands to hit the field. We didn't care who won the game. you know? Drums. That's my, my first love was drums. Then I graduated, started dabbling with percussion and everything too. But that's my first love, drums. I met Zigaboo when I was like around 11, 12 years old, something like that. And we got fascinated with it together. And we had big cardboard boxes, pots, paint buckets, and different stuff like that. And we used to get scolded for taking his mom's spoons, plastic spoons, and different stuff out of the kitchen. And everything had a kind of hip little sound to it, so you'd use a pot cover for a cymbal. It was pretty much whatever we could find to make the rhythms we wanted to make, that's what we did, until we wound up getting drums later on. It started off clapping hands, following my Uncle Jolly singing Indian songs, and then it graduated to tambourines, then from tambourines to drums.
Love has got the wind, no doubt about it. Love has got the wind, stand up and shout it. Love has got the wind, and hatred has to lose. Love has got to win. Love is what we got to choose, so let's get at it. One people, one spirit, one world.
My favorite song is The Laughter of My Grandchildren. That's magic. Colors, shapes, all that,
One people, one world, one time. One people, one spirit, one world. One family, for all boys and girls.
And definitely the words and the music take different colors and different shapes, and then they blend together, rainbow style, So yeah. Nature is full of music, so inspiration can come from anywhere. And growing up in New Orleans, the towboats on the river got the engines have a certain rhythm. Those paddle wheels have rhythms. St. Charles streetcar going down the tracks got a rhythm. Just a lot of things in New Orleans that I picked up just from, being in New Orleans, Yeah, one about the Neville brothers. Yeah.
I got a nickel, you got a dime. New Orleans, around count on time. Take 'em on up, take 'em on up, and bring 'em on down. Wild chopper to the all over town. Here they come, talking about
Fina, hooray, Melinda, chopper move, Fina, junkie moving, but if you don't like what the big cheese said, it's just chopper move.
a complete one about the Neville brothers, about each brother, and then what we did together.
But the song is written about and for the best friend I ever had in my life, who 44 years ago agreed to be my wife. Her name is Danielle. You're a work of art. Your poetry in motion. You could brighten up the darkest night.
Oh, wow.
If you just took the notion.
Oh, I don't know, because I'm not finished accomplishing things. You know, so I would say the greatest and the best thing that ever happened to me in my, you know, is meeting Danielle, how was it, Neville. That was the, you know, turning point, a serious turning point in my life. And that, to me, is like the best thing, greatest thing ever happened to me. You know, I really, truly believe that, you know, an angel was sent down to watch over me. Yep. A very talented angel. Oh, wow. Yeah, but they got the full faces on that thing, so. Well, I know for sure 2 of them would be Art Neville, Charles Neville, and probably the other 2, Dr. John and Alan Toussaint. What about George Porter? That's where I'd say George Porter.